Hey Warren, this is Mr. Kangas coming back again with my gratitude garden for the week. Um, Wanted to focus on a few different things this week. One, I got to spend um, time covering art this week, and I got to cover like a kindergarten class, and I was super appreciative of having that opportunity. It's one of those things where it was not a planned part of my day. It kind of came up last second, and I had to run in and cover the class, and it just was a nice, unexpected opportunity and reminder to spend time with the kids because with this specific job, it's super easy to get overwhelmed and over inundated with paperwork and discipline and just things that you know aren't really why you got into the job. I spent a lot of time organizing pool testing. I'm still in the middle of making sure that hope can get up and off the ground and running here in a couple weeks. Organizing NUIA tests or applying for our tier 3 grant. There's all these things that get in the way. We got selected for NAEP testing in the winter that requires things for me to do, paperwork wise and roster wise, and uploading things into systems and just really kind of like almost boring things that don't necessarily see a lot of high level student impact. So you get over inundated with those things, and it's really nice to get back into a classroom and be with kids and just see them light up and hear them laugh and process things, and especially too with art, getting to see the art they create and see them get all excited about their little creations. It's a lot of fun. On the flip side of the whole kindergarten piece, I got an opportunity to go to Kiev with our sixth graders, so on the complete opposite spectrum of students. And we got a high energy, high personality, group of sixth graders this year, and for the next month, I have to ride the bus twice a week down to Kiev and spend time with them, and then come back and help the kids, and then hopefully after that, Kiev will start helping out with that. But in the meantime, I will be doing that, and I got to do that for the first time this Wednesday, and just again like another opportunity to see the kids being kids. And yes, these kiddos can be a handful at times because they're sixth grade kids, and they do sixth grade things, and just getting to see them in an environment where the only objective is to give them experiences and to help them engage in fun and give them appropriate social opportunities. The bus ride down, they were super excited, to the point where like I had to quiet them down a few times and talk to them about their behavior. But then by the time we got to the bus ride home, I mean, they were completely on point. And they just had so much fun the entire time I was there. Overall, they did a really good job listening and following directions. And yes, they got silly and energetic at times, just to be expected. But we went from having 6 people signed up to 30 people signed up. And I'm sure that number is going to continue to grow over the course of the next couple of weeks. And it was just a great overall experience for the kids, for the Kiev staff who are also going to be coming and spending time in school as well. And I'm really excited that we're able to offer this opportunity. I've been itching to get some sort of after school extracurriculars in place for elementary school in this district for a long time, but there are so many logistical complications to it due to the elementary schedule and the lack of an activity bus. It's just a much more complicated endeavor to engage in. We get out of school later. So it's really exciting to have this opportunity and to finally like navigate the logistics behind it, because it's definitely not an easy thing to organize in elementary school. It's much easier at middle and high school, where you have an activity bus that leaves every day at a certain time, and so you can keep kids after school and know that they can get home, and it doesn't rely on the parents to have to make an extra trip back to school after work. So that's a huge relief. Really been enjoying talks with staff. One of the hardest, I think, hurdles as an administrator is when you say something and people are so conditioned to hearing bosses, I guess you'd say, authority figures talk, but not actually follow through or mean what they say. That's been the hardest thing as an administrator. So many people have had those experiences that's how they view anyone in that type of position. And ever since I took over the principalship, not the assistant principalship, but the principalship of the school, there are several big kind of sticking points for me that I value. One of which is we are a family first school. Like as a teacher, it's super common for teachers to get so over inundated with expectations and work and timelines and whatever that they end up consuming their home lives and their work lives with work. They go home and work. They come into school early. They come into school on the weekends. They don't feel like they can, leave work a little early to go catch their kid's soccer game or to go pick their kids up from an event. They feel bad, and because they've been conditioned to feel bad for being a parent, for being a human. And so one of the things that I've been harping on big time is you need to take time for yourself, take care of yourself so that you can be here for the kids, take care of your family and be there for your family so you can be here for the kids. Work is meant to empower you to have a life. It's not meant to be your life. So you need to put up boundaries and you need to be willing to ask. And I tell people, I don't care how many times you ask me, if you want to go to your kids' games or you want to go pick your kids up from an event or you have a doctor's appointment, I will always encourage and support you in doing that and tell you that it's okay. Because we have numerous staff with kids and with kids who are in middle school and high school, and they're doing important things that if you don't go see that game, you're never going to see it. You're never going to get another opportunity because at some point your kid's no longer going to be playing games. And so I think I think it's really important that staff feel like they can be a human being, feel like they can be a parent. Because if they don't, then they get stressed and then they get anxious and then they get torn and then they start feeling guilty for being a human and guilty for being a parent. And people are finally starting to hear me say things, and they're actually starting to shift their mindset to believe that I mean it in these things. There are a lot of things that we do in school. That's one of them. Where a lot of schools, the administration will say they are family first, will say they want to support these things, but then don't. After you ask 3 or 4 times to go see your kid's game, you get talked to about, how often you're leaving and things like that, and eventually the administrator has to walk back on what they say. Another thing that I talk to staff a lot about is the curriculum. We don't need to get through our curriculum. The curriculum should not drive our decisions or drive what we do or be the most important thing. The students in front of us drive what we do. If students don't get what you taught, you take the time and you teach them until they get it, and that means all students. If a student's having a behavior and is having trouble coping with something, you take the time and you deal with the behavior and you deal with helping teach them coping strategies. And if you don't get through all of your curriculum, or if the students come in and they're not ready for your curriculum and you have to pivot and you have to teach them other curriculum to help get them to where they can be. I keep one of the big things I say to staff all the time is you do the best you can with what you got. So if you don't have all the resources that you need or want or feel like would be best because we're out of money or whatever, you just do the best you can. And I am going to understand and support our teachers in that. And I've had so many conversations over the last few weeks with teachers, including one this morning, where a teacher reflected to me, like, you told me to do the best I can with what I have. And this was a teacher who was really concerned because she wanted to have an extra body in the room during a certain period, and we just don't have the extra body available right now. And she was very stressed out because she wants to take her kids to the moon and back, as all teachers do. But she, and she was stressing herself out about the fact that, like, she didn't have everything she wanted to have in place to make sure she could take these kids to the moon and back. And I said, I told her, I said, we'll continue to work at it, and in the meantime, you just do the best you can with what you got, and take the kids as far as you can take them, and you have to inside in here recognize that that's okay, and don't needlessly stress yourself out, because when you're stressed out, that transfers to the kids. You got to give yourself grace. Our teachers hold themselves to a high standard, and oftentimes when you do that, you can kind of almost like be your own worst enemy. And I'm trying to get people to do everything they can do for the kids, and walk away feeling good about it. Yes, we can always do more if we spend more time, and we always want to be looking to improve. But we also need to be willing to say, "Hey, I did a good job. I did my best. I did everything I could, within reason." That's the caveat there. It's within reason. You do not need to be working 24 hours a day around the clock. But when you are working, you should be working. And people are starting to take that to heart and really appreciate it. A lot of people have expressed gratitude around the fact that they know that when these things are said, whether it's from me or Miss LaPerriere or wherever, that they know they can trust it. And that is such, as an administrator, as a leader, that is one of the most, if not the most rewarding thing that you can hear, is that, like, people feel like when you state a value, and you state that you believe in something, that they believe you when you say it, because that is such a hard thing to accomplish. And so it just reinforces my appreciation for being in this school. I can honestly say I don't know that I would be super happy as an administrator in a different district, in a different school. There's something unique about our school and our staff and our kids and our culture that we've built, that I really appreciate, and we always have room to grow, and we are always identifying next steps and things to work on, and just the differences I've seen in the last few years have been incredible. So I appreciate having people that communicate so openly and so freely and so honestly, because that's how we grow. That's how you earn trust. That's how you resolve conflict, is through this open communication, is through these expressions of gratitude, and noticing and naming the positive things while also working at the negative things, because nothing's ever perfect, and everything is always a work in progress. So I appreciate everybody who tunes in, and I hope this is something that you guys appreciate. I will tune in with you guys next week. Thank you.